Profit in lane there.
I don't think it's gonna have much fun. Lifestealer would have been quite nice against Night Stalker at the start at least, but against a Death Prophet, it's a pretty shit lane. You have a really fast ranged hero with high right-click damage and percentage scaling magic damage. That sounds horrible.
Oh yeah, it's not gonna be a great time there for sure for Kiritic unless you get that value point from Rage, but it's not something we see in laning for the Lifestealer. And as you mentioned, percent-based damage up against these two strength heroes is always gonna feel great. Where do you think then that Nemiga is gonna get that momentum? Again, you emphasize that laning start for Nemiga. Do you feel like then that comes down to their off-lane duo, perhaps?
I think Maureen is a really strong laning player. So if he can get a good start on Puck, hit level 6 at like 5-6 minutes and get a kill in one of the side lanes and then try to get a tower, that would propel them into the mid game quite nicely. The one problem is that he's playing against the Coddle, so he's not gonna win the lane super hard because that's almost impossible against the Coddle, just because of the way that hero is designed. And then also they don't have a lot of push. So they may be able to get an important pick-off, but I don't really see them transitioning it into an early objective. They need Lifestealer Deso before they can push.
For sure, it's going to take a lot of farm for them to get that done. A bit of a smoke play here, broken out by the Hawk down mid. Still showing up, but not really managing to catch anyone out. And Hellscream copying that damage now on the CM. Isn't forced to use any spells. Crystal Nova is going to be on Saneko, and the body blocks out from Malrine, catching the trap up on Saneko, and they give that first blood away. So you talked about that strong start for Malrine. Does get first blood. That's a nice little bonus for him in the Puck.
This is definitely exactly what they needed. They're bringing the weirdness to BetBoom.
Yeah, just that
you don't
cheeky
see
little
that smoke often.
No, definitely not. Not with that angle onto the river into that left side flank on the Radiant. Still going to be a little bit of a scuffle over bot, but not going to force the issue. Both teams looking to be happy with a 2-for-2. So Vazia is trying to run up and not going to be able to outright click. The Hawk will still find it. 2-for-2 trade in hand. Vazia being really aggressive onto the Hawk though. Already getting him down to less than half HP. No regen on hand for the Night Stalker. How do you feel about the safe lane of BetBoom as well? We touched a little bit in Nemiga's lanes, but looking down bot, again, the Hawk on that Night Stalker being flexed in, and Saneko on his signature Chen up against that Dawnbreaker and the CM coming down here for Vazia and for Hellscream. Like, is this something that just plays into the Hawk's favor farming, or do you see that aggression coming out from Nemiga here as maybe level 2 or level 3 comes up?
I think Chen is very good at making sure that your carry can farm. Because of the support of the creeps and of course the armor and HP regen aura. At the same time, this is definitely a Nemiga favorite lane. Both CM as well as Dawnbreaker are really strong laners, and together they just have so much control and spammable damage. So I would definitely expect Nemiga to come out on top, but the Hawk, he's just gonna do the Hawk things and still get farm.
Yeah, still managing to get that build up. Saneko is copying some heat. And Nemiga is ready with a little bit more mangoes on hand. We see Hellscream with like 5 mangoes, eating 1 already, and an extra mango for Vazia. So we'll see if they will put a dent on the Hawk for now. Still looking at the other lanes, we've got a chance down mid. Laurel up against Malrine. You talked about it a little bit, Wingblade. You don't really expect Malrine to be able to overcome that too much on the Kotl, considering the wave clear. What's the goal here? Just hit level 6 and kind of look for rotations elsewhere?
Yeah, exactly. Just, like, don't give complete free farm to Coddle. Try to at least get, like, a few denies and make sure that you don't miss too many CS yourself. But it's so hard. Like, yeah. Coddle doesn't destroy you as a hero. Like, he doesn't get kills too often. But you just can't stop him from farming because he has a spammable, like, 400 damage nuke 3 minutes in the game.
It's just way too much to go up against, and you already see that reflected in the CS. As you mentioned, Malrine doing a good job of keeping up. It's not getting completely shut out either, and it's at least finding equilibrium here with Laurel to an extent. Still, last lane we haven't really checked out yet is up top. Kiritic on that Lifestealer with So Bad on the Phoenix up against Force Mage's Tiny, and Notice on that DP. Already a good Avalanche out, that Spirit Siphon out from Notice. And the damage output onto Kiritich is a ton. It's still a level 1 Spirit Siphon as well, as they do manage to isolate the hackdown bot. So the spell spam is there. Level 2 comes up. Level 3 on Vazia. Level 2 Celestial Hammer with a burn. Enough with the setup from the CM. But going back to that top, like, considering this kind of lane, you mentioned it early on, Wingblade, not going to be fun for Kiritich. How do you kind of recover, or at least set up for Kiritich to have some build-up here?
I think you just need the puck to rotate at some point. I think it's a similar story to bottom lane though. Even with all of this pressure, Kiritich should still be able to farm.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Yeah, he is sitting up there, not really being scared too far away by Notice, and at least has the value point in the ridge. So it's going to have a way of dodging out some of that damage output coming out from Notice and from Force Major. Already a steady start for Nemiga though, 0-2. Not quite building up in a huge way in net worth, of course, still early on, less than 1k lead going their way. But already signs of a great fight coming out from the Div 2 promotees. Now, do you expect any key timings to come out at, say, 5 minutes? Do you expect either side to start to get aggressive as these laning spells come online?
Yeah, for sure. Puck is gonna try and rotate for a kill. And at the same time, we have a lineup with a Chen and a DP. Both of these heroes really like rotating to lanes. Maybe not even necessarily getting a kill, but definitely getting towers. Just the entirety of BetBoom likes running around the map, taking objectives. Like, not a single one of these heroes just likes sitting in a lane and farming. So, I feel like a few minutes from now, we're gonna see all kinds of heroes in all kinds of places.
Yeah, I mean, you've always got the Chen with the creep army down the line, you've got the DP with Exorcism, and as you pointed out, again, Nemiga doesn't quite have that push. Let's see if they're willing to fight early on, and how much they can really take off the map. A bit of a quiet period in the game, a bit of a pull coming out top. Nemiga just kind of giving Kiritich as much farm as he can, and Force Major blocking off the small camp. No sentry on so bad. He does have one in the inventory. We'll drop it at the right time, right before the block will really kick in. Force Major does at least snipe off the bounty, but that is leading to just static farm for both Noticed and Kiritich. And, you know, the Lifestealer, again, not doing too bad, but you are starting to see a little bit more coming out from Noticed. So that DP timing is going to kick into gear maybe a little earlier on than you'd want. Percent-based damage onto Kiritich, it's pretty painful with that level 2 Spirit Siphon up.
Yeah, he considered going for a Helm of Iron Will quickly to try and survive in the lane, but he just couldn't save up the money. Also, we spoke about this earlier, but Seneko did pick up a Hype Stormcrafter, so he's just happily spamming the Chain Lightning.
Yeah, that range is sickening. Just not much the CM can really do to kind of frostbite her and get some counter control back. And it is the first nighttime. The Hawk already walking away from that lane down bot, maybe looking to help mid. Does have Crippling Fear off cooldown now. Bit of a surprise movement onto Mallory, along with Force Major. Instant silence out. Avalanche ready for Force Major. Does secure the kill onto Mallory. Force Major will find it, but yeah, I mean, this is the Hawk, right? He just likes playing like this. They find Health Scream. Is gonna try to TP home. Is there enough damage? Yes, there is. Laurel finds it this time around. 2 kills with the Hawk's movement to mid.
For a moment, Nemiga was leading by a little bit, and now it's already a 2k lead for BetBoom, and they're also going to be able to take this tier 1 mid.
Yeah, that is just ridiculous spacing. Great timing to play with a siege creep, right? And you've got the tiny damage out, even with just level 1 tree grab. It is a ton. Nemiga, I mean, you called it out, Wingblade. Like, the side of BetBoom will just want to take these skirmishes, go for the push. You've already got level 6 on Noticed. In comparison, Kiritich is still at level 4 on that Lifestealer. And they do spot Force Major out. You know, the tiny, not even the brown boots up, just the Windlace to speed up. But considering you've already lost mid, what's the call for Nemiga? They've got the Dream Coil. It doesn't feel like they have anything else to play off the back of yet.
I mean, at this point, I guess you want to wait for Witchblade first on Mallory. He almost has the gold.
So bad. Tossed back into the rotation from Laurel with the Illuminate. Already having the travels up 7 minutes in. Just with a massive lead from that mid Coddle. They do leave behind a pig pull, and we'll pick it up. And the Exo's out from Notice with that tiny kill. So, with the siege creep once more, just the timings coming out are perfect. Laurel looking for the snipe. Kiritich does not rage in time. Solar Guardian is up to provide a little bit of healing. No further follow-up. They might go into Force Major. Not toss back to interrupt the Starbreaker, making them work for that kill. Force Major still alive with a Fairy Fire. First damage not quite there. Forced to use the Dream Coil. So bad still dropping low on the sidelines, but they still managed to find Force Major. No punishment coming out from BetBoom this time around.
Ooh, and the Huck is actually going for a Midas.
Yeah.
So he wants the skill on this Night Stalker.
Do you like that Midas pickup here? Does the timing feel fast enough for you, Wingblade, to kind of justify that investment?
I think they have enough tools to make space for him. And even with the Midas, I feel like the Huck is still gonna fight. It's just, I don't think that the Huck thinks he needs to farm. I think he just knows that he doesn't need items to fight. So he's like, might as well get a Midas.
Down bot, getting a little bit aggressive onto Seneko, but the Hand of God does heal. Laurel on the chase. They've got the lightning creep spamming out, and Vazia will go down once more to Laurel. The travel's paying dividends for the Kotl already. And I like that point you said. You know, it doesn't feel like the Hawk's gonna need too much itemization. He can't afford to go greedy. His kit's gonna feel good as long as he manages to run up to these heroes and just get that momentum going. Ping's coming up top though. Noticed, can be caught out. Malrine here as well. No Dream Coil. Does get used up now. And Notice just kind of trying to stand his ground with Spirit Siphon onto 2, but damage is done. Response coming through from BetBoom. Not quite there in time.
Very nice.
Nice little pickup. Malrine still trying to go for more. Dark Ascension forced out by the Hawk is rooted up by the CM. Does look like they'll be able to make a hasty retreat on BetBoom's end. Neither side going to be finding anything just yet. If you're on Nemiga right now, I mean, you're finding that one kill in the DP, you know, you're keeping the kill board even, but you're losing map control fast, you're 4K behind. What do you have to play around? Like, is there any items we want to see from Malrine? He already has that Witchblade up here.
I think Kiritich just really needs to buy this time, get that Midas and start being a threat. Because right now he's just a melee creep with magic immunity. So I think you just want to play around bottom and mid and have Kiritich just farm top statically until he gets anything.
For sure, he's getting some space up top as the action breaks down on that mid river, but not on either side really finding anything. Force Major kind of too far away from the Hawk to follow through from the crippling fear. And the Life Stealer is, you know, he's building up the Midas. He's eventually going to come out. As they are starting to make some moves down bot, but it's Vazia forced to run away from Seneko's creep army. The damage output from spells too high, and they're gonna Dream Coil onto Seneko. No Hand of God yet, but does have the mech healed up here as Laurel does come in with the Illuminate. Hell, Scream getting slowed down with a Penitence in the output with Laurel. Just too much to deal with for a puny little CM.
So much healing from BetBoom. Felt like Seneko took no damage and he didn't even have to use his mech. Just the Illuminate healing was enough.
Yeah, it's just so much stacking up, and it's some of that sustain meta that we've been seeing elsewhere. You know, just staying alive through. The Warlock's been popular, really popular in the close qualifiers elsewhere. And this combination of Chen Kotl just getting work done. Another push down on that bot tier 1. Siege creep up, creep army up from Seneko. Tower is just set to melt. And Nemiga just has no response. They are hanging around with Vazia. No one really coming in to help out. And Vazia does get solar binded up. They really gonna commit? Nah, they back off, they play it safe. Nemiga, the map shrinking here, Wingblade. Like, a 7k lead for BetBoom, 5-4. We're only 11.5 minutes in. So a 7k lead is huge.
And Vazia is so poor as well. I thought he had an item on the courier, but he literally just has phase boots and a soul ring.
Yeah, that's tough to see. Seneko's got more gold on POS 5. Chen, he's just been that effective on that hero. Again, one of his specialties. They Dream Coil up the Hawk, freeze him up as well with a freezing field and the solar card. Everything. 3 spells out. They do get the Hand of God to try and stall. Laurel does come in to try with a solar bind onto Vazia. The output is great, but not enough as Laurel still on chase. Malrine does find Noticed on the sideline, but not gonna fully commit. So they find the Hawk, they find some good punishment.
I think this kill just doesn't matter though. You kill a level 8 Night Stalker whose Midas is on cooldown, but you have to commit multiple heroes to do it. You don't take an objective, and your heroes are just running around, not getting farm.
Yeah, they're just kind of stuck dealing with BetBoom's poke back here, still in that same rune spot. And the lead still stands steady for BetBoom. You know, the Hawk respawns, uses the Midas, starts to build up. They are getting room out for Kiritich at the very least, getting... looks like maybe recalled back. I hear the recall sound, just a bit of a bug. Roshan does begin though for BetBoom with a creep army. It might not take too long, and they know those spells are blown. We saw it. Onto the Hawk, 3 big ultimates. They do have the egg, but I don't know if you really have a response here, Wingblade.
I don't think you do. Even if you do anticipate this and you go in, the egg just dies really fast, and Malrine is so vulnerable to silence still.
Yeah.
They are gonna try.
Clumping
This
around.
is the right call.
Find Force Major, getting to hold off onto him with a Sunray, but they're forced to run off with the Hawk committing that Dark Ascension. Dream Coil dropped as well just to prevent that chase out from the Hawk. Crippling Fear does fade off, but Roshan does fall, taken out by Carl. They'll lose Force Major. Egg drop down now as well. The Hawk starting to drop low from that output. Still alive though from the sustain. The Egg doesn't really catch anyone as Notice starts to run up, is out of mana, but they catch out Vasya. BetBoom find everything. They trade off their support for an offlane. They get the Aegis up and running, and Nemiga, they give it an attempt, but it just doesn't pan out here.
They had to commit so much to even kill the Tiny. I think this game is gonna get very difficult once the Hawk gets his BKB.
Yeah, he's gonna be going into it soon. He does have the shard queued up first, so just building up on more gold. Maybe that, you know, that little Devourer is gonna feel pretty nice as well. And just did instant healing in the middle of these fights around the jungle. It's always something that you can't underestimate. And Nemiga, I mean, they've got the Midas here on Kiritich. It's there. The Armlet's coming out soon into the Desolator. Is there anything else we have to see from Nemiga to, again, kind of drag this lead back their way?
Yeah, I think it's all about the Lifestealer now. Like, Puck is gonna be able to create some space, but if Lifestealer isn't, like, at least close to the Kodo and net worth, they don't have a chance in fights. They need to make sure that the Lifestealer is strong enough to jump in together with either the Phoenix or the Puck and get a kill to start these fights off. Like, if you don't immediately kill someone, I don't think you have a chance. Because in these longer, sustained fights, the healing is gonna reign supreme.
Yeah, and we're really seeing that effect. Just the aura coming out from Seneko, the Illuminate healing coming out, Hand of God, Mech. It's just a lot that Nemiga isn't geared for. They just don't have that much burst. And again, even when they find these big kills, like say on the Hawk, it just takes them way too many ultimates that the rest of BetBoom can kind of clump around. No, there's no massive threat out from Nemiga, and just take the re-engage anyway. So, gotta find a way for Nemiga to play. They are inching closer as well to Malrine's Blink. Maybe that helps with catching the backline. Maybe helps with, say, isolating Seneko. Take out that Chen before the healing can come into play. And, you know, turn that fight into your favor there. So you still have that pause out. We are seeing Hellscream as well, queuing into the BKB on the CM. Do you feel like that's a big emphasis? Like, just having Freezing Field in the middle of a fight for a long time is better than, say, some utility on a Glimmer Kit or a Force Staff in this game?
If he can get this, it's gonna be game winning, I think. Because Freezing Field is so good against heroes like Chen. Because the creeps can never get magic immunity, and even though you don't want to focus them, they do have a lot of impact. Then again, this is a position 5 queuing up an item, so it's always optimistic.
Yeah, it's gonna take forever to kind of get that unless, you know, Hellscream just positions like a god somehow. It stays alive in these fights where they find a couple of kills here and there. Bit of a shove out from Seneko up top with a creep army. Some of it burned down by So Bad. And we are also inching closer to Noticed's own BKB, so holding down that Death Prophet can be a little bit tougher as well in the middle of these engagements. Not to mention that eventual BKB for the Hawk that you also pointed out there, Wingblade. Laurel gonna be TPing in now up top, looking to play aggressive with a creep army. Really easy to find TP points. Hellscream, probably the squishiest target. He decides to turn around here. Trying to kill off Seneko. They freeze him, they Sunray him down. Hand of God is there though. So an Avalanche does not connect, but the Centaur stun does chain up onto Malrine, but no one to really play around at yet. Solar Bind, dodge out for Malrine. This is giving them an angle onto the tier 2 with Notice just focusing on pushing in there. There is a bit of a defense coming out. 4 heroes out from BetBoom to get this tower down. They jump onto Notice, still no BKB, so the silence is doing a ton of work. Hellscream looking for an angle to play. Avalanche does catch him out, and the toss back is perfect from Force Major as they find the CM down. Force Major is caught out by the Dream Coil, so a counter kill coming through. But without that CM, without that freezing field, as you mentioned, Wingblade, it does feel a bit tougher to clear out some of the army. Fortify will clear them out, but healing is there from Laurel. And
Shield.
yeah, it's a lot of heal. Do you feel like that's some well-used space from Nemiga? I mean, we at least had Kiritich and Vasia farming out here.
Yeah, I think that was pretty nice. They traded position 5 for position 5 because, to be honest, Tiny is the position 5 this game. But they're still gonna lose the tower now. I guess they got a bit of extra money on Lifestealer and Dawnbreaker because you can't stop this push, at least not on tier 2s. So might as well get some money.
Diving pretty deep with a Crippling Fear, doesn't really manage to find a hold. Frostbite was there from Hellscream. Still the tower falls, as you mentioned, Wingblade. Top tier 2 gone, Outpost going to go under BetBoom's control at only 16 minutes in. A 7k lead still stands, 7-7 on the kill board as well. So very lucky for BetBoom right now, as they do manage to cap out Vasia, stopping that Starbreaker. Spirit Vessel out, not much play left for the Dawn, as Notice actually cleans it up somehow. So just finding these pickoffs across the map for Nemiga. Yeah, they still need that time to build up. They've got the blink up on Malrine into the travel. It's up now. Do you feel like for Nemiga, like you mentioned going for pickoffs, it does also feel like they still have that team fight around them, right? Like the Dream Coil Solar Guardian combos. Holding that thought though is Malrine does play poke with Laurel, trying to orb out. Does manage to blink out as well, but TP is on cooldown for a bit longer. Does manage to dodge out on the Illuminate, still trying to dance away here on the puck. We'll have the blink up soon. So Laurel, no backup, not gonna find it. But when do you figure we see Nemiga start to play around with that team fight combination? Like maybe Dream Coil Egg and Solar Guardian on top. Like we haven't really seen them chained up all too well.
I think they're not gonna be looking for team fights unless BetBoom comes knocking at the tier 3s. Because for now they have the heroes to just split the map. You have a Puck who's about to get travels and has a blink, so it's really hard to catch. You have a Dawnbreaker who can join fights anywhere. So you just keep farming the map, hope you don't lose towers too quickly. And to be fair, this lead has been around 7 to 8k for like at least 5 to 10 minutes now. And that's a very good sign for Nemiga. They're not winning, but they're not losing either.
Yeah, they're not losing any more than they already have, so managing to keep up that same growth that BetBoom is having. Still a bit behind, but it's not completely unplayable for Nemiga. So they are trying to make moves onto Force Major down bot. Solar Guardian was popped. They should be able to find that Tiny. They are getting some of those pickoffs going here, Wingblade.
Yeah. It's nice to have a bit of extra money. I think Phoenix could use something like a Force or a BKB too. Because he's definitely going to be the Hug's focus target in these fights.
Yeah, gotta find a way to keep yourself alive, get as much value as you can from the Sunray, and try to get that opportunity to pop that egg. Still a ways off. He is going for the Force Staff now. So, you know, Veil of Discord up, and Force Staff to come afterwards. A little bit more to play with here for our Phoenix. Slump up from BetBoom into that top jungle once more though. They don't have the Aegis left, so not going to be as protected now to go for the bigger objectives, but are still looking to line up mid and get a little bit of a shove in, cutting off the creep wave. And a smoke out from BetBoom with Laurel, looking for an angle down south. Triangle is empty. Pretty good ward to maybe spot out if they do break it behind the tree line here on Nemiga's end. They're going... Just kind of holding the triangle for now. Eventually walking up to the tier 2, and the smoke does break under vision. So Nemiga's going to be able to back off. Notice does pop the Exo for a little bit of a push, but the creep wave is already gone. So Backdoor should kick in short order for Nemiga to stall out for more time, but the damage is quite quick from Notice. Looks like not enough to stall out from the tier 2. And that's one outer tower left now for Nemiga at only 20 minutes in.
We do have to mention that Kiritich is farming really well. He's caught up to the Night Stalker, and I reckon it's not gonna be too long before he's close to Cuddle.
Yeah.
So they are getting there, Nemiga.
And they're starting to play with some infest now. Malrin infested up by Kiritich. Again, with that blink and travel, it's very speedy on that puck, very mobile. See if they find an angle in us. They do have the Solar Guardian as well, along with Vazia's BKB. Malrin?
They need to find Chen.
Ooh, they don't quite catch the Neko on the silence, but they will come out with the Dream Coil. Seneco's trying to heal up. Hand of Guardian, Solar Guardian on top though, and they might be able to just punish Seneko. So they find the Chen.
That's such a slow kill.
It did take them a while despite all that commitment. Now here comes the ult from the Hawk, looking for the chase with a Dark Ascension. Does find one. Vazia forced the BKB and try to run off. The damage, not quite enough. One more right click would have done the job. Vazia does manage to bail out in the nick of time. So it's a Chen for a Phoenix in the end. They are trying to chase down a puck, but it is still a bit too slippery. But on BetBoom's side, they didn't really have to pop anything major to find that trade back.
And I really love Laurel's itemization. He had a Dagon queued up, but he changed it to a BKB because he knows that he is going to be the focus target for the Infest Bomb. And with a BKB, there is really nothing that can shut him down. While with a Dagon, he deals a good amount of damage, but he is very vulnerable to just Coil plus Lifestealer. Oh, Malry.
Coil,
Playing
Malrin
with
does
fire
show
here.
up. Is going to be able to orb away before the silence kicks in, but is out of mana.
He's
Blink
dead.
on cooldown as well, and Mallory, the brave little puck, stalling for time. Not gonna live through. Laurel gets the timing, finds that kill. 10 to 9, 10k lead now for BetBoom, and Nemiga, they're trying to get some space out, right? Like this is all about still trying to catch up in the Lifestealer.
I love the confidence from BetBoom. They're not rushing anything. They're pretty confident in taking this game later as well. Like, you would see a lot less experienced team try to force things with a lineup like this.
Yeah. They aren't overextending just yet. They do manage to catch out Laurel with them on Nemiga's end, but Laurel still living through that output from Vazia. Not quite enough to burst down yet. Seneko, they do drop the egg on top, but no attack speed slow is really coming through. The Hawk is hitting pretty slowly, but it's still enough time. The burn does get Laurel in the end. So that is pretty big for his life. That's 713 plus 310 on the AoE goal. That's a lot from that one hero.
This is what happens when I praise players, John. Instead playing like this and not pressing BKBs and then dying to support Phoenixes.
That's where the overconfidence kicked in for BetBoom, and Nemiga maybe feeling a little bit more. Than going for another infest play here with Mallory, knowing the Cottle's down. It's a lot of that AoE burst gone. See if Mallory finds another good angle once more. Checking for wards first. Looks like we're checking around the rune spots. Going for the angle down south. Dream Coil at the ready. Where are they gonna see first? Could be Seneko, but they spot Force Major first. Break the smoke in the tree line. Silence out. Infest out as well. Force Major still alive though and does get healed up by the mech. Solar Guardian on top. Hand of God does heal up Force Major. BKB being popped by Vazia to get the chase down, but they're sacrificing a ton. They lose Health Scream. They might lose Vazia. He does get left behind. And that's a 2-for-1 from the smoke out of Nemiga.
I think Tiny is the worst possible target to engage on. Because he's really tanky, has low impact on fights, and he can get healed really easily.
Yeah, it took them way more. Again, we saw like so many ults having to be popped just to find that one kill. You force out the Exorcism from Notice, but you're still, slowly shoving in on that bot tier 2. Probably not gonna find it fully their way just yet. You do have the blink fully up now on the Hawk, along with the gem. Into the Basher next to deal with some of those BKB TPs. Sir Night Stalker is building up quite fast. And with the Shard, along with the Midas, you kind of farm real quick here as well for the Hawk. So,
yeah,
just scaling
you
really
have double
well.
Midas practically.
Pretty much. Like that cooldown on Hunter Knight is very, very low. For Nemiga now, any big items you're seeing to, again, kind of help even out here. They've managed to keep the lead down to 7 to 9k. 10k max, I think, came out for BetBoom. They're looking to sneak Roche. This could be big if BetBoom doesn't read it.
It's gonna be very nice. With the lifestealer Deso, they're gonna take it pretty quickly.
And the Hawk just running forward with the silence out, forcing the BKB open. The rest of Nemiga going out of the pit, trying to respond. A huge avalanche out from Force Major. Infest to try and save. They do find Force Major in the end, but BKB's for the retreat as Vazia's on the run. And now they've left Malorine alone. The Hawk cutting off the backline and Force Major to follow up with a slam dunk right before he dies. They don't manage to commit for the Roshan.
Really nice positioning by Dahak, getting the silence onto both the important silence targets in the Phoenix and Puck. It's exactly what Dahak needs to do. Because this game he is, in theory, the carry, but he doesn't really need to deal damage. He just needs to be tanky, and he needs to be in the front line. Because he has a DP and a Cuddle to fall back on.
And they've got all the damage in the world with their scaling spells, especially on that Death Prophet. We'll take the opportunity to just take the outpost. There's a good ward here from Nemiga to watch as BetBoom will go into the Roshan. They do have at least the Dream Coil and Solar Guardian ready, but that Rosh goes a lot quicker for BetBoom. Nemiga going for the smoke play. Can they make it in time? The Rosh is falling pretty damn fast. Doesn't look like they'll reach when they'd want to. Aegis coming out onto the Hawk. Still the blink forward from Vazia, trying to find a pick off the Force Major. Just too tanky. The Infest into the backline onto Seneko. Egg out in the middle as well. BKBs are up and they're focusing that egg down. Solar Guardian does nothing to follow through. Force Major still being dragged on the Kip Ditch, but Vazia is the same on the sidelines. This Hellstream and the puny CM's not going to be able to do much here with the Vampire running after her. Is the Hawk still on the chase? They do get the slow out on the Kip Ditch, but he will be just rage TP off. And the Slippery Puck does slide away once more. So they force the fight in Nemiga. They find a couple of supports. Lose a lot more as well. The blink forward, the silence out onto Malorine, and they still find that kill. Walks down south instead of up north, and that's all the opening they needed here for BetBoom.
It looked pretty okay at the start for Nemiga, but as we spoke about in longer fights, you just can't keep up with BetBoom. You need to win the fights quick if you're Nemiga. And now with an Aegis on Nightstalker, that's gonna get even more difficult.
Yeah, just instantly jumped onto Kip Ditch, forced to use the BKB to not get completely controlled up. Does still have the rage to kind of stay active here and will infest away. To burst down that creep before it can really get anywhere there with Solar Bind. Yeah.
Needs to be careful about the Hunter in the night.
No, instead the Hawk blinks forward, gets the silence off onto Vazia. Doesn't have damage on his hand, but is zoning out quite nicely. Rack still set to fall. Avalanche out from Force Major with a toss back. Vazia stuck in the middle, but they get a big Dream Coil out. Solar Guardian, not quite blind pretty, still on cooldown. Hand of God to heal up onto the Hawk. Using field from Hellstream does do some damage, but not enough to find anything. No kills yet for Nemiga on that defense, as BetBoom finds them all. At least the CM and the Dawnbreaker, and they will find a Rax. Rotate down mid. Aegis still standing. How do you stop this on Nemiga? Stop? Well,
Sure,
the Hawk just blinks forward. It doesn't get any bashes onto Malorine, but the Hex is out. And he's just gone. That range on Laurel with a Hex is just... It's pretty ridiculous at this point in the game.
Yeah, this is not a fun puck game.
Buyback forced out from Malorine. Mid set of racks melting as the Hawk takes control up top here as well. Kind of splitting their choices out here. Trying to clear out the creep wave with Malorine. Good Titch holding the front as well, but a bit of a sneaky smoke from the rear as the Hawk blinks forward, trying to, again, play tag with Malorine. No follow-up for him. Will force the Exorcism out. Sunray to melt some of those creeps and onto Notice. They will not really force this push down. Some mid-set racks are set to fall. With the EXO out, doesn't take too long. One rack standing and it's just melting to a right click. Siege Creepers up top. Mega Creeps at 13 minutes in. BetBoom 23 to 14 with a 25k lead. Does Nemiga have what it takes for the high ground defense and kind of getting a swing back here?
No. Just no. I try to be optimistic sometimes, but Even looking at their lineups, they have no chance to defend against Mega Creeps. Their wave clear is really mediocre.
Trying to get a chase out. Solar Guardian does not quite connect and force Major, and he does have the Yules to save, stalling out that, but will eventually fall. So they find something with at least a couple of ults used. They need more than that. As you mentioned, playing against the Mega is going to be a little bit tough in terms of their wave clear. But Mallorin, Woody, and Fest looking for something. Notice is the closest target. They do have decent enough vision from the low ground, but not much on the high. More up. Can they catch Notice? No. Just TPs away in the nick of time. And BetBoom, if you're BetBoom right now, well, they go for it instead. They just go for the smoke. Looking for their own punishment out.
Ooh, Kiritich.
Kiritich is showing in the front lines here. Yeah, instant hex from a mile away. Can they get the follow-up stuns though? No one's going to come up in range in time. Kiritich is going to try to rage and get some hits off, but there's the Abyssal out. And well, we didn't even notice that the Ancient was just left alone. Nemiga. I mean, they put up a valiant fight. You know, they ban out some of the specialties of BetBoom, but they come out with just the Night Stalker for the Hawk. They get the Saneko.